Hey Screen Rant fans, it's Ryan here, as always with Rob.
Hey everyone.
We're back at it again today with a brand new episode of Theory Battle. And in this one, we're once again diving into the vast ocean of theories, Avengers 4. Seriously, Marvel has dropped so little information about the movie that all we have to go on are theories about what's gonna happen.
There's even a theory that Marvel isn't going to drop anything about the movie except the title. Like, they're so huge at this point, they don't even need to make trailers or market their movies anymore.
They can just be like, alright, the next one is called Avengers Potato Chip and it comes out on April 26th. We know you're gonna go see it no matter what, so just be at the theater at that date and bring your wallet.
So since Marvel is being so secretive about this movie, there are probably going to be more than a few things that catch us by surprise. And that brings us to the topic of today's theory battle, which is about unexpected big players in Avengers 4.
Just before we get into this too much, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That'll let you stay up to date with all our new videos, like theory battles, pitch meetings, and some really in-depth documentaries.
Alright, so obviously when fans think about Avengers 4, they imagine the big names stepping up to take on Thanos, or whatever the major threat of the movie will be. And that makes a lot of sense. If this is going to be the last time we see Chris Evans play Captain America, we want him to get a lot of screen time and kick a lot of butts.
Yeah, and we definitely want to see a lot more of Thor and that Stormbreaker weapon. That thing was nuts. So anyway, it's pretty much a given that all those OG Avengers are going to get a lot of screen time before probably taking a step back and letting the new players really step into the spotlight for Phase 4 of the MCU.
But there are some theories about some unexpected characters also getting a lot of screen time in Avengers 4, and they might actually play some massively important roles in the movie.
So we're gonna take a look at who some of those unexpected big players might be. Rob, why don't you kick us off with the first theory?
Well, the theory that I'm presenting says that Eitri will play a major role in Avengers 4.
Tyrion Lannister taking over the MCU, I'm already into it.
So yeah, back when it was announced in 2017 that Peter Dinklage would be playing a character in Avengers Infinity War, people started trying to guess who it might be.
I was kinda hoping he was just gonna be Tyrion Lannister. Little to no explanation, just Tyrion Lannister wandering into the fight.
Yeah, well, unfortunately that didn't happen. A lot of people also thought he might be playing the supervillain MODOK, but in the end it turned out to be Eitri the Dwarf King. And it may have seemed like some kind of glorified cameo or something, but when you really think about it, this guy was behind the most pivotal moments in Infinity War.
Which one? It seemed like something huge happened every 2 minutes in that movie.
Yeah, Infinity War was full of big moments, but there are only a few that you can really call pivotal moments. And one of those is when Thor made his big entrance with Stormbreaker in the Battle of Wakanda.
That battle definitely did take a turn when he showed up. Those Venom Goro dogs were dominating hard.
Yeah, and another pivotal moment is when Thor shoved that same weapon into Thanos' chest. I mean, yes, he should have aimed for the head, but still, he critically injured Thanos with that thing, something nobody had been able to do the entire movie. And then probably the biggest, most pivotal, most insane moment ever, the already iconic snap with the Infinity Gauntlet. So what do those moments have in common?
People in the theater screamed when they happened?
But also, Eitri was the one who made the weapons used in them, both Stormbreaker and the Infinity Gauntlet. These two hugely game-changing objects were made by the same guy.
True, that dude is an arms dealer for the ages.
Yeah, and it's not much of a stretch to imagine that he can be the provider of some more game-changing weapons in Avengers 4. And that's exactly why his appearance in Avengers 4 might be kept under wraps. Think about it. If they list Eitri as one of the characters in that movie, they're basically confirming that the conflict is going to be resolved with some kind of game-changing weapon. And going along with the theory that he will appear, there are two main forms that could take. The first path would be for the remaining Avengers to go visit Eitri and be like, hey, we really need that Stormbreaker thing you made for Thor. Could you go ahead and make us all some crazy weapons too? That'd be great.
That'll be tough to do with his metal hands, but I guess they could help him out with it.
And then you'd have all the Avengers rolling into the big final fight with the deadliest weapons we've ever seen them use. The other and more likely option is that the Avengers would connect with Eitri so that he could build them another Infinity Gauntlet. Most theories floating around about Avengers 4 involve the heroes running around and trying to collect the stones themselves one way or another.
Probably with time travel if like 95% of the theories are to be believed.
But no matter how they track them down, a big unanswered question is what exactly they're gonna do with them. Are they just gonna stack them into a neat little pile and hope for the best? They can't exactly use the same gauntlet that Thanos used because that thing is completely fried. So the only logical thing to do would be to try and get their own Infinity Gauntlet. Thor would probably chime in and be like, oh, I know a guy who can do that for us. And they'll go back to see Eitri and probably encounter some other threat they weren't expecting. Like maybe some other evil being is forcing him to make a gauntlet, then there'll be a cool fight scene, you know how these things go.
So who would actually wear the gauntlet?
Well, that's another big question that needs to be answered. Marvel's really been pushing the idea that Captain Marvel is the most powerful hero we've ever seen in the MCU. So if it's gonna be one of the Avengers, she's definitely a safe one to bet on.
Hopefully he can make a gauntlet her size. She could probably fit her entire body in the one Thanos wore.
So what's your theory, Ryan?
Well, the theory I'm presenting says that Pepper Potts will play a major role in Avengers 4. So Pepper Potts had a super tiny part in Avengers Infinity War.
It was basically, okay, bye Tony, have fun in space.
Yeah, it was super super quick. But to be fair, it played an important role in setting the tone for where Tony Stark is at in his life right now. There was some talk about starting a family and whatnot so that everyone in the audience would be like, oh god, please don't let Tony die, he has so much left to live for, oh no, please no, no, no. And I guess it was to be expected that she wasn't gonna have a massive role in the movie. After all, there were like 75 characters with superpowers in there.
True, you can't really blame Marvel for not spending a bunch of time with the non-hero characters.
But at the end of Infinity War, Thanos kind of thinned the herd a little bit in that regard, so we'll be jumping into Avengers 4 with a lot less characters running around. That means the door is open for Pepper to play a much bigger role in the movie. That's not to say that this theory is just Pepper will be in the movie because everyone's dead. There's a little more depth to it than that. There's also more depth to it than just having her be the character who represents Tony Stark's potential future family and whatnot. No, this theory says that Pepper Potts is gonna become a hero herself in Avengers 4 and kick a whole lot of butt.
Ah yes, everyone's new favorite Avenger, Captain Potts, or Pepper Woman?
Yeah, no, definitely neither of those names. Now, we've seen Pepper kick some butt before in a few different ways. In Iron Man 3, she was given those Extremis powers from Aldrich Killian and was basically invincible for a little bit, but those powers were taken away at the end of the movie and never spoken of again, so that's not what we're talking about here. She's also suited up in one of Tony's Iron Man suits before though, and that's more in line with the route that this theory says Marvel's gonna take in Avengers 4. One of the major things that kicked off this theory was this leaked image featuring the Hero Vision toy line for Avengers 4.
Wow, there are like 8 pixels in that image. Zoom in, enhance.
The image is pretty fuzzy, but you can pretty easily identify the characters on there. For example, top right, clearly Thor and Rocket. But look down at the bottom right of the image. The character on the left is pretty clearly Iron Man.
Yep, hard to mistake that one.
So then who's that in what seems to be a purple and white Iron Man suit next to him?
Thanos in an Iron Man suit?
Nope, not Thanos, but rather the founder of Goop herself, Gwyneth Paltrow. Some fans thought at first that maybe Nebula is the one who puts on the purple armor since she's also on Titan with Tony, and with his nanotechnology, he could probably fit that entire suit in his pocket. But I hate to break it to those fans, but that's not how this is gonna play out. First off, there's a precedent for Pepper suiting up in her own personal armor in the comics and actually going by the name Rescue. And in fact, in Iron Man Armored Adventures, her rescue armor is purple and white. And it's been pretty much confirmed that it's Pepper in there, seeing as I was researching this theory, a photo of Gwyneth Paltrow wearing some purple armor leaked. So yeah, sorry Nebula, maybe next time. So that leads me to the meat of this theory, which is the massive role that Pepper Potts is gonna play in Avengers 4. Pepper putting on some rescue armor makes a whole lot of sense when you consider that Tony is stranded on Titan and is in pretty big need of being rescued. And that's part of what her major part in the movie is gonna be, bringing Tony Stark back to Earth.
So what, is she just gonna go fly out into space and go grab him?
Well, maybe not that, but she's likely gonna be one of the main players in the effort to bring him home. Because think about how the Earth is gonna be in the immediate aftermath of Thanos' snap, right? Half the population disappeared, planes have crashed, governments have collapsed. It's not like there's a whole lot of people available to rescue Tony.
True, everyone's gonna be pretty preoccupied.
Yeah, he's not really anyone's priority, except for maybe a few people. And looking at the IMDb page for Avengers 4, you have the perfect characters for a little ragtag team of people to bring Tony home. You've got Jon Favreau returning as Happy Hogan. You also have Ty Simpkins returning as Harley Keener, that little kid that Tony helped out in Iron Man 3. If Tony somehow manages to send a distress signal back home, that's a great trio to bring him back. You've got Happy to crack jokes as he tries to help out. You have Harley, who's probably on his way to becoming the next Tony Stark to take care of the tech stuff. And most importantly, you have Pepper to suit up in the rescue armor and take care of the actual, well, rescue. Maybe this will be some kind of crash landing situation that she has to help out with if Tony manages to fix up a ship on Titan. You can already imagine the back and forth where Tony is telling her not to help out because it's too dangerous. Then she says something like, "This is exactly the kind of situation you made this armor for, Tony." Maybe her joining the fight will lead to her getting hurt in some way, and that'll then be the catalyst for Tony deciding to retire once and for all. Part of that is just me hoping that they're not gonna kill his character off, but it could work.
I'm definitely on board for a theory that involves Iron Man not dying.
So anyway, now let's go through a quick recap of these two theories so you guys at home can decide which one you think is the most likely to be true.
My theory says that Atri will play a major role in Avengers 4. The weapons that he made caused pivotal moments in Infinity War. The Avengers would go visit him in Avengers 4, and he would either make them weapons or their own gauntlet.
And my theory says that Pepper Potts will play a major role in Avengers 4. Some leaked images show a purple Iron Man suit. This is probably Pepper's rescue armor from the comics, and Pepper will help bring Tony home from Titan.
Now it's time to turn it over to you guys in the YouTube comment section. Which of these two theories do you think is the most likely to be true?
Or do you think they're both terrible? If so, let us know if you have a better one. If this was your first episode of Theory Battle, we have a lot more of these on the channel that you could check out.
And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and share it with your friends.
You can also subscribe to the channel channel and ring the bell if you want to stay up to date with all our new stuff. Thanks for watching, guys, and check back soon for a new episode of Theory Battle. Bye-bye.